No! Jumps up. Oh, and the Memphis Grizzlies are in the playoffs.
Now, I'm aware that this series would have had a different enough outcome. I still would have had the Wolves winning, but I do not doubt that if Steph were playing in this series will at least win 6-7 games. I'm aware of that. But that didn't happen, and the Warriors got sent to Cancun. There's a whole lot I want to unpack here. First of all, speedy recovery for Steph. You know, hamstring injuries are not a joke. But what happened to playoff Jimmy, man? What happened to the man that showed up, Drew Holiday in the Bucks? Drew Holiday, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who, by the way, since we want to play the injury excuse, playoff Jimmy won against the Bucks because Giannis had a hampered back. Let's start using that injury excuse, right? What else? Yeah, he showed up. Drew Holiday said, "Yeah, I'm in your head. I'm scoring 50 plus on you. I'm a bad mother effer. Y'all can't beat me." The same Jimmy Butler that swore when he was in Miami that he would have kicked the Knicks and the Celtics asses if he were playing last year. By the way, the Heat got absolutely eviscerated back-to-back years. You know what I'm saying? The Heat absolutely got eviscerated. So yeah, that same playoff Jimmy, that same Jimmy Butler that went to the media, the Miami media, and started crying about how he lost his joy for the game of basketball. And look, like I said in my video that I made about Jimmy Butler, I understand the frustration because you did all that with the Heat and you still did not get help. But still, you went on to you went to the media and cried about how you lost your joy and acted very unprofessionally to a point where it's like you didn't even want to be out there. You get to the team that you wanted, and in a do or die game, you gave me 12 points in a game 4 where it was the last game of the Warriors season. Let me look at Jimmy Butler's stat line and because the thing is, bro, I was actually rooting for Jimmy Butler. I actually wanted Jimmy to play well. But in game 4, do or die, all he gave me was 14 points. Game 5, he gave me 17. At least he had some decency to be aggressive. Not aggressive enough. Game 3, he shot 26 shots and he got 33 points. Okay, that's respectable. I needed more of that from Jimmy, bro. I needed more of that from Jimmy. And game 4 was a game where he needed to be Miami Jimmy. He needed to be the Jimmy Butler that showed up Drew Holiday. Because let me tell you something, man. This whole time I've been hearing, because I've been hearing it from a few dudes I used to be friends with too. Because when we talk about Drew Holiday, remember what he did, Drew Holiday? Remember what he did, Drew Holiday? Remember what he did, Drew Holiday? Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks on an 80-degree weather on a Tuesday night at like 7:15 p.m. with 10:32 left in the fourth quarter or some shit like that, bruh. Remember he did that, and the other to Drew Holiday? That's why I've been hearing. This is an opportunity for him to do something similar to that, and he failed. I'm sorry, he failed. And I do not want to hear the excuses that he got injured because none of y'all. Here's the thing: you guys were winning, Warriors fans. Do you know that you guys were winning in spite of Jimmy being injured? Playoff Jimmy had 20 points in that game 7. Playoff Jimmy in that game 4 had 27 against the Rockets. So I don't want to hear the whole, Jimmy was hurt. And the thing is, and I do not, and the thing is what pissed me off about these Warriors fans is that they're starting to turn to Cowboys fans. They're really starting to turn to Cowboys fans. That it's just going to feel like every year is supposed to be their year. And when things don't go their way, they blame injuries, they blame the refs. How about hold your coach accountable? Because for some reason, he thinks Brandon Pajemski is the answer. Yeah, he had a playoff career high 28 points, but this series was already decided. I'll give Pods this. He plays hard. The thing is, I'm with a lot of there was a reason why a lot of Warriors fans were calling for his job, bro. a lot of Warriors fans were calling for his job. Pat Spencer gosh. Pat Spencer, when he came off the bench, from the eye test, for me, it felt like he did a lot more positive things on the court than Brandon did. You know what I'm saying? So, the thing, let me get to Jonathan Kuminga too. Jonathan Kuminga, he balled out his mind. He's the one bright spot this series that I will give absolutely no slander to. Zero slander. Because he actually played really well. He actually played really well. Now, his rebounding was pretty trash. His rebounding was trash. But it's kind of unacceptable because he's 6'7", 225. But I thought he balled in the games that Steph was out. Kuminga balled. He really did. 18 in game 2, 30 in game 3, 23 in game 4, and 26 last night. So Kuminga balled. And this is what a lot of people were talking about when it came to Steve Kerr and not playing Kuminga, doghousing him in the Rocket series. I understand that, sometimes he has the IQ of a walnut, but he was he showed that he's an actual legit third option, but man. And then for some reason, Steve Kerr, here he comes again. He's playing small ball against a team that the last team they played against that played small ball, Rudy Gobert had 27 and 24. Here he is again. Looney cannot keep him off the glass. Why didn't you go with Trace Jackson Davis instead of Quentin Post? I don't get it. Let me see how many minutes Trace played. Because it was like I watched bits and pieces of that game because I was so busy at work and we were pretty much stuffed with a busy schedule. But it's just like, oh wait, he did play. But he only played 6 minutes. Why didn't he play a lot more? Like for some reason, Steve Kerr's in love with freaking Quentin Post and Gui Santos. Gui he's all right, but it's just like, come on, he ain't all that in a bag of chips, man. Playoff Buddy maxed out what he could do within a 5-game stretch. So Buddy Hield, he had 8 points, but he, like I said, he's missing hit. You know what I mean? And he was hitting his shots first. From Game 7 against Houston to games 1 through 3 against the Wolves. Games 1 through 3 against the Wolves. So, and then Trace Jackson Davis. I don't know why, Steve Kerr refused to play him. I mean, Quentin Post isn't your answer either. That guy's he's Brook Lopez at best. And Brook Lopez can get more rebounds than the guy. I don't know. Steve Kerr's rotations, it feels like he's stuck in 2018 when the Warriors were at their peak. I don't know what it is. And this is coming from someone that does respect Steve Kerr's body of work. He blatantly got out-coached. And let me tell y'all something. For a lot of y'all Warriors fans that are going to say, oh, let's run it back next year. Let's just run it back. And, Steph is going to do this, that, and the other. Guys, he can't guarantee you a finals appearance anymore. The dude is 38, and Jimmy Butler's about to be 37 next year. And the thing about it too is that people are saying, "Oh, well, Jimmy's Miami's finals run was 2 years ago, or was too long ago." Bro, that was 2 years ago. It wasn't like he just came off most improved player and he took the Cavaliers out and got eliminated in the conference finals by the Atlanta Hawks. No, this was 2 years ago where he made it to the finals. Oh my gosh, bro. This is just so cringe and laughable that playoff Jimmy turned out to be a playoff fraud. And Jimmy Butler, if Jimmy is as good as people say he is, he would have at least won games 3 or 4 without Steph Curry. He would have won that game by himself because I've seen playoff Jimmy games in Miami where he nearly beat the Celtics by himself. He just missed a shot. that would have made that possible. He did all that hooting and hollering and all that scoring against the Bucks, the Knicks and the Celtics. He couldn't even do that for these games. It's just pathetic, man. And again, going back to now, before I get too off track, guys, let's stop using experience as an excuse, as like the end all be all, because these guys are getting old, man. The Sixers, for example, had a lot of guys on that roster with playoff experience. Reggie Jackson's an NBA champion. Eric Gordon's been to multiple playoff runs with the Rockets. Paul George, we all know what he did with the Pacers and the Thunder and the Clippers. Some more than others, lack thereof. And what did that experience get them? It got half of them on the trading block, and it didn't lead the Sixers to anywhere good because Paul George is overrated. LeBron James is another example. LeBron James is the most experienced vet of everyone in that Wolves Lakers series, and not even his experience could take the Lakers over the hump. And this is what, like, this one dude that I used to be friends with, he was like bloviating about, oh, Luka, LeBron, and Reeves, they have more experience than the Thunder. They have more. Well, first of all, do teams not gain experience from the playoffs they played in? So it's just like, what you do. I don't get some of these fans thinking about experience. Do you want these young teams to keep failing to these old guys because of the fact they don't have enough experience? Do y'all want these teams to fold again? Do you want these old teams to just keep on winning consistently because the young guys don't have too much experience? That's the thing about the Wolves too. They gained a lot of experience from being in the conference finals last year when they had Karl Anthony Towns. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, once upon a time, when they were on your roster, they were a guarantee. Like, whatever your win total was, whether that be 24 or 34 wins, Steph, LeBron, and KD gave you 20 to 25 more wins. Jimmy Butler, too, to an extent, with Derrick Rose. But those times are gone now. The Warriors are getting older, and they're going to have to still compete in the West. Charles Barkley even said it on Inside the NBA last night, that you can't harp on experience as a way to say, oh, they're going to win it all because they're experienced. That's such a blatant disrespect. And quite frankly, it's disrespectful to the younger teams too. Because what? Again, do you want these young teams to keep losing forever because of the fact that they're not as experienced as LeBron or Steph? Get the hell out of here, man. Again, would the Warriors have made it a closer series if Steph were playing? Yes. Because Steph is still that good, even at his age. But Steph being there is not an automatic guaranteed win. And then, how about Draymond Green, man? Hey, Draymond, I understand, I get the whole confidence. You just jinxed your team, brother. You just jinxed your own damn team. Whole bunch of jinx. Oh, I can guarantee that the Warriors are going to win a championship. Oh, we will win the championship. Now, before any of y'all say he can't predict injuries, this is the same guy that would berate the refs when things are not going his way. This dude would injure players if things didn't go his way. And a lot of people are bringing Jimmy Butler's tailbone. Did you guys know Draymond Green and to a certain extent Steven Adams was the one that caused it? It wasn't Amin Thompson. It was all Draymond Green and Steven Adams tussling for the rebound. Amin got caught in the middle of a crossfire, and Draymond and to an extent Adams shoved him, and it caused Jimmy to injure his tailbone. But none of y'all want to point that out because Draymond is such a winner. Yes, he has a fiery competitiveness, and I can respect that. I can respect the fact that Draymond brings an edge to a team that any team would love to have. I respect that. But those same things that we love, I told my friends this, well, not my friends, some dudes I used to call friends this, but they're all too stubborn to understand. What the same things we love, it's the same thing with Russell Westbrook too. The things we love about Draymond, the things we love about Russ, are the same things that we hate about them. Yes, they have fiery competitiveness. They play with an edge. They play with grit and heart. But that same type of intangibles are the same reasons why they make stupid, boneheaded decisions and do things that will cost their team precious games that could have made a difference. But okay, now that I'm done dissing the Warriors, let's just observe. Where do they go from here? But let me be honest with you. I don't know where the hell the Warriors are going to go after this. Because, like I said, their roster's getting older. Steve Kerr has become a very stubborn head coach, and Jimmy Butler lost all my respect. So it's just like you're gonna have no choice but to run it back with three players that are aging in a very competitive West where teams are only going to get better. The Lakers, I even say, are going to get better. Unless the Warriors get players like Gary Trent Jr. and Amir Coffey and then get bigs like Capella and yada, yada, yada. But even then, I don't know their cap situation. I don't think they have enough flexible cap to make those type of moves happen. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have the cap unless they get off Moody and Kaminga's contract. That's the only way they would make a big splash from free agency when trading for a star like, let's say, a Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Bucks, a Devin Booker even. They would have to trade those guys. And to be honest, they had a chance to trade for Larry Markkinen, but the Warriors front office thought Brandon Pajemski was the answer. That dude is absolutely terrible. I'm not letting that 28-point performance, 28-point performance fool me. So, okay, I let it all out against the Warriors. Now let's talk about the Wolves. And I don't want to take too long because I got to stretch and take my ass to the gym for my early morning workout. The Wolves are great, man. The Wolves are a great team. And originally, as the season started, I really did not have any confidence in Minnesota, especially with how they started the year. Like, I thought Julius Randle was a bad fit next to Rudy Gobert. You couldn't do this with the same stuff that Karl-Anthony Towns did. But you know what? I was wrong. They went 17-4. And I told my dad this when they played the Lakers. And a lot of people don't get, this is not your average 6 seed. This is a 6 seed that struggled during the year. They just happened to be there because of how they ended the season and how it was such a tight race in the West. Now, before any of you say, oh, well, the Warriors are 3-1 against the Wolves, they would have won if Steph were playing. First of all, that's a very small sample size. Let's get that out of the way. And a lot of people are saying, oh, I'll be very happy when the T-Wolves get swept by the Thunder. First of all, the Suns last year swept the Wolves in the regular season, and the Wolves swept them back. So it's not guaranteed anymore. Like, you cannot guarantee regular season wins anymore. I hate how people say the regular season doesn't matter, but they bring up regular season. Here's the thing that doesn't make sense. A lot of people say the regular season doesn't matter, but a lot of people bring up regular season series wins against a certain team to try to prove a point. Like, come on, bro. That's just corny, and that makes you look like a hypocrite. But let's just use that argument. The Timberwolves have proved they can hang in there with Oklahoma City. And that was my alarm, not yours. Don't worry about it. If y'all happen to hear that. But the Wolves can hang in there. The last game they played against OKC on my birthday, February 24th, they were down by like 11 with like 5 minutes to go, and then they came back and won in overtime. And they won on February 13th, so shortly after the trade deadline, 116-101. The only two Thunder wins was the day before my birthday, 123 to 130. OKC wins that game. And then December 31st, where the Thunder won 113-105. So, and these games were close. At least 3 of them were. So, if we're going to use that argument, the Wolves can hang in with the Wolves can hang in there with those boys. And another thing, and one more thing about the series too, Steph would have made things different, yes. But do you not think Minnesota would have wore him down the same way they wore LeBron down? Like, I'm sorry. Like a lot of people are saying, oh, Steph is like people treat like Steph like he's Superman. Like, he admitted that he's not. Come on, dog. Come on. The Wolves would have wore Steph down as the series went on because their bench is full of liabilities. Paz is a liability. Buddy Hield is a liability. And the thing is, the Warriors were playing with their food against the Rockets, and it cost them that precious game 6. They were lucky that Buddy Hield had the shooting night he did in that game 7. Because if Buddy Hield did, that's why the Warriors won, because Buddy Hield decided to turn into freaking Steph Curry himself. And Steph multiple times in that Rocket series, he had a lot of games where he scored less than 20 points. So if we're gonna use Steph would have played, it would have been a different outcome. Yeah, it would have, but the Wolves would have still won. And I think if the Wolves played the Nuggets, they would have wore Jokic and Jamal down, because look at what's happening against Oklahoma City. They are getting worn down, bro. And it doesn't help that the Wolves warmed down last year. Do y'all want to know what it also comes down to? Lack of depth. Lack of depth. And I think the Nuggets are going to see their season end tomorrow. They did all that against the Clippers for this. But okay, I just need to let this out of my system because I wanted to get to it last night, but I was so tired after a long day of work. But yeah, the Warriors, they're done. I'm sorry. Like, I would love to see Steph win one more with Golden State, but that's not going to happen unless they got Giannis. And even if they do get Giannis, what type of depth would they have? Because trading for a superstar, you were taking a big risk trading away a lot of depth. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would have happened. And that's why I hate when people put stock on like big threes and such, because it's just like, yeah, big threes would have played when healthy, and that's why me and a lot of people picked the Lakers, because their big three is better than the Wolves, and the Wolves just played better than us, and the Wolves turned out to be better than us. So, but regardless, a lot of people are saying the Wolves are getting swept by the Thunder. Don't be so sure, man, because these Wolves can hang in there with the best of them. They can play with the Thunder. So I'm sorry, y'all. That this series is over, and it's been over. Obviously, it was over. Like, I knew the Wolves will win, but Steph's injury only made that 10 times possible. I think that it would have been a lot closer, yes, but the Wolves would have shown that they're younger, they're hungrier, and they're better. And in my opinion, Steph has nothing left to prove. And if he did come back, at what would have been like at what cost? They would have won, but at what cost? Because Steph could have tweaked his hamstring at any point in time. He could have tweaked his hamstring in Game 3. He could have tweaked his hamstring in Game 4. He's old, man. Jimmy Butler is old and overrated. Draymond Green, he's old and can't control his damn emotions to save his life. I don't know, man. I just wanted to get on here and explain my take on this whole entire Wolves Warriors series, and how that, yes, injuries ruined a potential great series, but at the same time, Steph being there does not guarantee an automatic win. Like, I just want to make that clear to people. Now, a lot of Warriors fans are going to hate me for this, but you know what? Let them eat cake. Because apparently, according to them and a lot of, people that love LeBron, I love LeBron myself, that a lot of people just want the younger teams to lose because they don't have experience, even though younger teams gain experience by being in the playoffs. But, that's what a lot of people don't get, especially with these other dudes I used to call my friends. So, I don't know, man. I just want to get on here and make this quick episode real quick. I'm going to go stretch and get ready for my morning workout. So, I hope y'all have a great day. And this has been another episode of Series Recap. I never use that as my outro. I never use that as an outro. I just wanted to come on here and ramble a little bit and just roast and toast the Warriors. Do I feel bad for the Warriors? No. I'm very happy they lost. Take it for what you will. I'm just very happy they lost. Because playoff Jimmy's overrated, and Draymond doesn't know how to control his anger. So, and and Ant is a bad mother effer. Julius Randle, bad mother effer. So, sleep tight, Warriors fans. Night night. But no, in all seriousness, it would have been cool to see Steph win one more, but it just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant to be, and he has nothing left to prove, and Draymond has nothing left to prove too. So I think the Warriors need a change of scenery. I think after these next couple years, they need to start over and rebuild. because these old guys they can't do it anymore. Not especially in a very stacked West, they can't do it anymore. So I think the Warriors are done, and I know we say this every year, and they come back, and so I've been told, but it's like this time it's for sure done. So Warriors fans, enjoy what you have. You guys had a full decade of greatness, championships, historic nights, and all the above. So just enjoy it while you can, because I may sound like a hater, but Steph Curry is one of my favorite players, and I will miss him when it's all said and done. The game won't be the same without him. It won't be the same without LeBron or KD. And I had a lot of respect for Jimmy up until this year. But it is what it is now, man. Let these young guys shine, and these young guys will gain experience in the playoffs too, because experience does not beat youth and athletic. One more thing I will say: just because you have experience doesn't make you youthful, because youth and experience is why the Rockets were able to force a Game 7, and why the Wolves won against both the Warriors and the Lakers. Youth, athleticism, and energy. So take it for what you will, but that's the harsh reality of it. I'm sorry, guys. And I will miss this era of the NBA, because this was an era I grew up loving, throughout high school, in my late stages of middle school, high school, and my first few years of college. I will miss this era. But you know what? It's about these young guys now, so there's nothing we can do about it. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling. This has been another episode. I keep doing that. That shouldn't be my outro. Maybe I should use that. What do y'all think? What do you guys think? Do you think the Warriors have one more run in them, or do you guys feel like their hopes of chasing a title is over, and they should hit the reset button and start over? Let me know what y'all think. And what do you guys think? Do you guys think Minnesota can upset the OKC Thunder or beat the Nuggets if they somehow win the series in Oklahoma, because it'll take a game 6 and 7 for Denver to win it? Do you guys think they'll take out the Wolves, or do you think the Wolves will have a good chance against either of those teams? Let me know what y'all think. That's the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces. Playoff Jimmy, get out my screen.